Hi, welcome back to Miss Niki's Reading Corner. We have to do 2 books today. We missed yesterday because Lucas's sisters had a whole lot going on. So, the first book there you go. Ooh. There you go. You got it. The first book we have is The Wild Christmas Reindeer. And I lost the cover to this book a long time ago. This is by Jan Brown. Tika was excited and a little afraid. This year, Santa had asked her to get the reindeer ready to fly on Christmas Eve. Tika had never done this before, and she wanted everything to be perfect. Tika lived in the Arctic shadow of Santa's winter farm. The last of the snow geese had flown south, and everyone's mind was on Christmas. The workshop was alive with the sounds and saws of sawing, hammers hammering, and brushes painting as they worked to have the toys and presents ready for delivery on Christmas Eve. This book is one that has a lot going on in the margins as well. Tika knew it was time for her to go in search of the reindeer. They had been out on the tundra, wild and free since last Christmas, and Tika was sure they wouldn't want to go back to the winter farm to train. She would have to be strong and firm. At last she found them. Bramble and Heather, Windswept and Lichen, Snowball, Craig, Twilight, and Tundra. Tika took a deep breath and shouted, "Let's go! Move! Move! Move!" The reindeer were bewildered by Tika's voice. Their heads went up to see who this loud creature was. But they let her herd them together and headed back towards the winter farm. Tundra gave her the most trouble. Tika didn't know that he considered himself the leader and was not used to being bossed around. He liked to stay next to Twilight, but she was separated from him and running near the front. When they got to the barn, Tika put them in different stalls. Tundra snorted impatiently. By the next morning, when Tika went into the barn, all the reindeer were restless and upset. Lichen was frightened of Craig, who kept nipping at him. Bramble was so worried she drove Heather wild, and Twilight kept calling out to Tundra, who was just plain angry and stamping his hooves. Tika groomed each reindeer. She wanted them to look sleek and glossy for Santa. One by one, she brushed and combed their coats and pushed and pulled at their tangled manes. She brushed so long and hard that their ears started to turn pink. That's not very thoughtful of her, is it? Tika took the reindeer outside. Now she was ready for the real training to begin. Snowflakes danced in the air as she tried to stand them in 2 lines and put on their harnesses, but they wouldn't stay lined up. She had put Tundra at the back with Heather instead of at the front with Twilight, so he kicked out at Heather, who then bolted into Bramble. Tika scolded the reindeer. "Don't move," she cried. But they all ran off wide-eyed, and she had to go after them and bring them back. The next day, Tika harnessed the reindeer in the barn before taking them out into the snow. Everything was right until she got them lined up outside and tried to steer them first to the left and then to the right. To make the sleigh fly, they would need to pull together smoothly, but everything went wrong. Tundra crashed into Heather, Snowball blew up at Bramble, and Windswept knocked over Twilight. And then, Lichen locked antlers with Craig. "Stop," Tika cried as she watched the reindeer paw the air. "Unhook," she shouted as they tried to free their long antlers. Then Lichen and Craig fell over into the snow. The harder they pulled, the more their antlers locked. The reindeer were frantic, and Tika only made it worse by yelling at them. Tundra and Heather rushed to help, but the antlers did not break free. Windswept nudged at Lichen, and Bramble ran to help Crag. But the more they tried to help, the more they got tangled up themselves. Their necks strained and their muscles bulged, and their antlers did not bulge. Tika wailed, "Oh, please, it's almost Christmas Eve." But the reindeer could not move. A frosty silence hung in the air. Lucas, you dropped it way over here. Here you go. Tika looked at the tangled reindeer, once so bold and free, and began to cry. "It's my fault," she said. "I spent all my time yelling at you instead of helping. I'm sorry." And one by one, she gave each reindeer a hug. "Tomorrow," she said, "we'll go to work in a new way. No yelling, no screaming, and no bossing. I promise. Let me try to help get you free." The reindeer listened to this new voice. Heather's eyes sparkled. Craig cracked a reindeer grin. Bramble giggled and Snowball sighed. Tundra laughed and Twilight smiled. The more they laughed, the more they shook, and as they shook, their antlers rattled and rumbled. And before Tika could do anything, she heard a spring sound. It was the antlers jiggling free. Quietly, Tika led the reindeer back into the barn. She sleeked their coats, she gently brushed their ears and combed out their manes. Tundra nuzzled her cheek. The next day, the reindeer lined up in 2 lines, ready for the harness, with Twilight and Tundra leading the line. They practiced turning left, and they practiced turning right. Tika directed them softly. Tundra pulled for Twilight. Bramble was gentle with the Lichen. Windswept helped Heather, and Snowball nestled against Craig. Together, they practiced long and hard. They didn't notice that it was getting dark, and they almost didn't hear a jingle in the distance. It was Santa standing by the sleigh, piled high with presents and ready to go. Now the reindeer were ready too, and Tika led them to the sleigh. Santa smiled and nodded his thanks. Then he climbed aboard and waved to Tika, who watched as the wild reindeer rose up together and carried the sleigh off into the night. Merry Christmas. Alright, here's our next book, Lucas. You gotta grab the paper. There you go. There we go. Not in the mouth. We have a Christmas tree for Ruby. It was almost Christmas time. Grandma was taking Max and Ruby to Santa's tree land. "We need to find the perfect tree," said Ruby. "It shouldn't be too tall, too short, or too skinny. It should be just right," said Grandma. But Max wanted to visit Santa. "You can't visit Santa right now, Max," said Ruby. "We have to get our trees first, or they'll all be gone." "We'll go see Santa just as soon as we find our tree, Max," said Grandma. "Okay," said Max. Grandma, Ruby, and Max walked around and looked at the trees. "How about this one, Ruby?" said Grandma. "It's nice and bushy," said Ruby. "But it's too small." "How about this one, Ruby?" asked Grandma. "It's nice and tall. I like that tree," said Ruby. "But it's crooked. The ornaments will fall off." "You're right, Ruby," said Grandma. "Let's keep looking." "How about this one?" asked Grandma. "It's not too tall and not too short. It's perfect," said Ruby. "Max, what do you think?" said Grandma. But Max was gone. Ruby found Max waiting to see Santa. "Santa," said Max. "You can't visit Santa yet, Max. Come see the perfect tree we found." But when they went back to the tree, it was gone. "Oh no," said Ruby. "Somebody took our tree." That's okay, Ruby, said Grandma. We'll find another one just as perfect. Grandma, Ruby, and Max looked for another tree. I like this one, said Ruby. Max, what do you think? But Max was gone again. Ruby found Max on Louisa's sled. Where are you going, Max, said Ruby. Santa Claus, said Max. Max, not yet. Come see my perfect tree. But when Ruby and Max returned to the tree, it was gone. Someone had taken Ruby's perfect tree again. Don't worry, Ruby, said Grandma. We'll find another tree. Okay, Grandma, said Ruby. How about this one? It's a little too skinny, a little too short, and a little too crooked. But I still like it, said Ruby. It is nice, said Grandma. Max, what do you think? But Max was gone again. Grandma and Ruby found Max sitting on Santa's lap. There you are, Max, said Grandma. What did you ask Santa for, said Ruby. Christmas tree, said Max. The end. Thank you for coming to read our books with us again. Hope to see you next time.